So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 6 of the NFL season is coming up. And for the Chicago Bears, they will be taking on the Minnesota Vikings, looking for their second win of the season. In this video, as always, I'm going to give y'all my 3 keys to the game on what I think the Bears should do to be able to win this game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. The Bears will be rolling into Sunday, taking on the Minnesota Vikings, looking for their second win of the season in a game that is very much winnable due to the circumstances. So, I'm not going to hold y'all for too much longer. I'll try to keep this quick as there's a lot of information to go through. So let's get started with the first key of the game. Number 1, you got to find a way to get Kirk Cousins on the ground. You got to get some sacks on Kirk Cousins. As always, the most important part for this Bears team is always getting pressure on the quarterback. Maybe that becomes a little bit easier for them now that the Vikings are going to be without their number 1 player on offense. As you've heard, unless you were living under a rock, Justin Jefferson is now going on the IR. For at least 4 games, he will be on the IR with a hamstring injury. So the Bears dodged a major bullet going into this week 6 matchup against Minnesota, as Justin Jefferson is no doubt the Minnesota Vikings' best player, and the Bears are starting to get healthy now in their secondary. Jalen Johnson will be back, Kyler Gordon will be back, Eddie Jackson will be back. So this defense is getting healthy at the right time, but it doesn't really matter that Justin Jefferson is out or not. This isn't like the biggest game changer in the world. It is, but it isn't, because the Minnesota Vikings still do have a pretty good offense without Jefferson. They still have TJ Hawkinson. They still have Jordan Addison, the rookie. They still have KJ Osborne. They still have Alexander Madison. So this, and they do have a pretty decent offensive line. So the main key whenever you play against Kirk Cousins is to make him uncomfortable in that pocket. He's not a threat to run. So I think the Bears should be doing everything possible to get him on the ground and get some sacks on him. As last year, he picked the Bears apart because he just was standing back there for 7 seconds. So, I thought the Bears did a pretty good job of that in their last game against Washington, but Washington gave up the most sacks in the NFL. But it was a breakout game for them, so we'll see how the defensive line plays this week. But the main priority is, without Justin Jefferson, it's going to take a lot longer for Kirk to go through his reads, for guys to get open, especially with our secondary coming back. So the Bears should be able to take advantage of that and get some sacks on the quarterback. If you can't get home with 4, dial up some blitzes, get some pressure on Kirk Cousins, make him make those tough decisions, and you should have a pretty good chance of winning this game. The second key, I'll try to keep this quick. This offense should be quick strike down the field. This Minnesota defense is very mediocre. In fact, it's not all that good. This Minnesota defense gives up a lot of points. They're like 28th in points against in the NFL. That means that they give up the 28th most points. This defense, especially at secondary, is not all that great. So DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, especially Darnell Mooney, should be a main focal point in this game. We already know that DJ Moore can explode for 230 yards with only 8 catches. We already know that he's, especially for these past 2 games, that he's the best offensive weapon for the Bears. So the Vikings know that. So they're going to do everything possible to take DJ Moore out of this game, as they know the connection between Fields and Moore has been elite these past 2 games. Whether that's due to the defense, whether that's due to busted coverage, it doesn't matter, because this Vikings defense isn't all that great either, especially their secondary. But they're going to take away DJ Moore the best way they can. So that means Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet definitely have to show up, especially Darnell Mooney, as I think this is a prime game to take some shots downfield, with Justin Fields being very accurate, throwing the ball over 20 plus yards. He has a 92.2 quarterback rating with 13 completions and 6 touchdowns when he's throwing the ball for over 20 plus yards. But you didn't see it last week, but it felt like Darnell Mooney was open a lot downfield. It's just that him and Fields couldn't hook up. So this week, especially with knowing Darnell Mooney's history with the Vikings, as he seems to like playing against the Vikings, this should be a big week for him. So I feel like they should dial up some shots downfield, let Fields get in the rhythm. Darnell Mooney should be going downfield. getting open in space. Cole Kmet, when they get into the red zone, he should be a big target in that red zone. And of course, DJ Moore has to be a focal point of your offense as well. So this offense, plain and simple, especially with Justin Fields playing as well as he is, and he's going to have to play well as well. If he doesn't see anything open, he needs to take off with his legs, get the ball out quickly, and just keep finding those shots downfield, and he should be fine. Luke Getsy, of course, needs to dial up the plays to get guys open, use Fields' legs, get him outside with play action, and make sure they're protecting him, as this front four for the Vikings isn't all that bad either. It's just their secondary is kind of porous at best. But overall, I think this offense should have a pretty good game. If they're able to block those two pass rushers in Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter, they're able to get those core guys, the edge rushers mainly, and they're able to hold them up just a little bit and hold up the pocket for a little bit of time for Fields to be able to scan downfield. I feel like there should be no reason why the Bears shouldn't be able to move this ball like they did last week. It all depends on what schemes they're going to draw up and how guys are getting open. This is a prime opportunity for the Bears offense. Let's see if they take it. But Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet should be the main focal points of the game, especially Darnell Mooney, as he needs to get in sync with Justin Fields. So that would be my second key of the game. This offense should have no problem moving the ball against this Vikings secondary. Moving on to point number 3. I don't know what it is about Alexander Mattison and the Bears, but it feels like this would be a breakout game for Alexander Mattison, as he seems to like playing against the Bears. So you got to think with Justin Jefferson being out of the lineup, you got to think the Minnesota Vikings are going to have to start running the ball a little bit more. Of course, Alexander Mattison taking over for Dalvin Cook. And he hasn't been all that bad, in my opinion. I like Alexander Mattison. He's a tough runner. He's been kind of up and down so far. He does have 5 touchdowns on the year already, but I'm sorry, not 5 touchdowns yet. I feel like stopping the run should be always the Bears' number one priority. Those linebackers have to get to the point of attack, fill their gaps, and get the Alexander Mattison to the ground, as tackling was a big issue last week. Even though Washington didn't run the ball all that well last week, it was still, you still saw the lapses in tackling, a lot of arm tackling, a lot of broken tackles, especially from that quarterback position. But if the Bears have any chance of winning this game, I think with the Vikings missing their best offensive weapon, I think they're going to commit more to the run. They do have a pretty solid offensive line, in my opinion. So they're going to be going at that defensive front. So the guys up front got to do their jobs. They got to try to muck up those holes, close them pretty quickly. So guys like Madison won't be able to get into the second level. And when they do, the linebackers have to do their job and get guys to the ground. But stopping the run, having good form with tackling and getting turnovers, mainly turnovers, is going to play the difference in this game. The Bears got 2 last week, and that played a big part in them winning that game. So getting turnovers, stopping the run, and making good quality tackles is always a big key for this Bears defense. If they're able to do that, they have a really good chance of winning this game. But ultimately, I do have the Bears winning this game. I'm going to go 31-27 Bears. Now, the Bears are coming into they've had a very good, 2 games. I still think the Minnesota Vikings will be able to move the ball pretty easily. This is a good offense even without Justin Jefferson, and I still need to see more from our front four to be able to say, I'm sold on them, that they're able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. It was steps in the right direction, but I don't know. And you're getting a lot of guys back for the first time this season, as they haven't really had a lot of time to play together like that. So I expect a little bit of rust on the defensive side. But for the offense, I still feel like the offense will be, locked in. They're going to go to DJ Moore early. They're going to get Darnell Mooney involved. I think Darnell Mooney has a big game. Their run game might suffer a little bit without without Khalil Herbert. But let's hope Roschon Johnson and Deonta Foreman, if they're ready to play, will be able to make their impact on the game. But I think Justin Fields and DJ Moore And that offense have been playing so well, especially against defenses like this, especially with a bad secondary like this. I think they'll be able to move the ball pretty well. But hopefully we can see that on Sunday. Hopefully they're able to continue the momentum, as it's been fun watching these past 2 games with Fields throwing the ball all around the field, getting his guys involved. Hopefully they can finally get that connection with Mooney going. But I do have the Bears winning this game 31-27. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who do you have winning this game? Do you have the Bears or the Vikings? Let me know how. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. Of course, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. Follow me on social media, as I'll be tweeting out things before the Bears game. As always, guys, bear down, and I'm out. Peace.